By the way, I'm not really a coffee snob, just whatever's the quickest and easiest way to get the caffeine into my bloodstream, that's what we're going with. This week I'm helping my friend Bryan with some video editing. For those of you who don't know, Kies Motorsports actually has their own video person that does all of their production for YouTube. He's out of town this week, so Bryan asked if I would step in and do some of their editing remotely so that they don't get too far behind. So that's what I'm working on this week. It's a cool opportunity because it's not every day that I get to edit other people's footage, and so I think it's going to be a good experience for me, and he's paying me, so there is that. So I guess in a way it is kind of like working for the competition. We have very similar channels, we have some overlapping content. Ironically, the videos that he's having me edit this week are actually E90 videos, which is kind of weird because he mostly does F30 stuff on his channel. But I don't really look at YouTube as a competition. I mean, yeah, we are kind of competing for your attention and your views, but at the same time, I don't really know if anybody who goes on YouTube to just watch like one video or anybody who just subscribes to one YouTube channel. I think that even like within the BMW YouTube community, we each bring something different to the table. We each have our own filming styles. We each have our own different personalities. So I don't really feel like I'm competing directly with anybody really. So just for fun, I want to walk you through a little bit of my editing process. Now I'm not going to get super technical with this, but I just want to give you a glimpse of the behind the scenes. I think that people who don't make videos might not realize just how much work goes into it. Even like a 5-minute video could have hours of work behind it. So the very first thing that I do before I even open Premiere is just make sure that all of the footage is organized properly. So Bryan actually sent me all the files via Google Drive yesterday. It was about 30 gigabytes. And he sent me footage for 3 different videos. So I've got each of those in folders. And then I have one main folder with assets that's got like his title animations and things. It's super important to keep all this stuff organized, especially if you have multiple videos going on at the same time. So once the files are all organized, we'll go ahead and open up Premiere Pro, and then we can start editing. So we'll do a new project. You can call this, I think the next one that I'm going to do is the side marker. So I'll just call it E90 marker, and then hit OK. And then I'm going to go ahead and import all the footage that I need for this video. So after I have the footage imported, the first thing that I personally like to do is scrub through the A-roll. Now those are like the main clips of him talking to the camera. What I'm going to be doing is cutting out the gaps, like from the time that he presses the actual start stop button on the camera to when he actually starts speaking. I'll cut those gaps out, and I'm also going to cut out any mistakes that he may have made. A lot of times as YouTubers, as we're talking, we'll slip up and we have to repeat things or say something a couple times to get it right. So I'm going to go through and cut out those mistakes. Then I will start piecing it all together into the main like meat of the video, if you will. So just a couple little quick tips here that'll make this go even quicker is that if you're editing 4K footage, first of all, you can go ahead and change your playback resolution to half. And that's actually going to make your computer run a lot faster. It'll help it render the footage more quickly as you're editing. And then another thing, what I do as far as like cutting out the gaps is I'll actually look at the waveform. And here I can actually see the moment where he starts talking, and I can put a marker there. And then also at the end I can put a marker here. That way I don't have to watch the entire clip every time. I can kind of just look at this and get an idea of when he starts speaking and know exactly when to cut it. So we'll go ahead and drag that onto the timeline here. And then just one thing that I want to do here really quick. A lot of you have been complimenting me lately on the aspect ratio. So just recently Bryan and I both switched to a 2:1 aspect ratio from we used to do 16:9, but now 2:1 seems to be like the new industry standard with a lot of smartphones. The screens are now a 2:1 aspect ratio, so that means that it'll fill the entire screen without having the black bars basically. So the way that you do that in Premiere is you're going to go into sequence settings, and where it says 3840 by 2160, you're just going to change this to 1920 and hit OK. You can just hit OK for that, and basically it's going to kind of cut off the top and the bottom a little bit, and that way it'll fit on your smartphone better. So at this point I've got the main part of the video edited. That's all the talking parts. I played through the whole thing. Everything sounds logical at all. You know, it's in the correct order. So now the next step is going to be adding in the B-roll and the titles. So B-roll is just like secondary footage that you get to sort of break up the talking a little bit, make the video a little more interesting. And then of course the titles, like its name, the video intro. They've got a really nice intro. My computer's having a hard time playing it because I'm recording the screen in 5K right now, but it does look very good, and it'll play smoother when the video is fully rendered. But That's what I'm up to right now. I'm gonna add this stuff in and then I'll show you the next step. So at this point in the video, everything is fully assembled. All of the A-roll clips, all the B-roll, the titles, everything is all ready to go. The next step is just gonna be finding some background music. Now, Bryan and I both use a site called epidemicsound.com. So if you ever wonder where I get my music from, that's the name of the site. It's $15 a month. And it basically gives you unlimited access to their library of music. It's all royalty free, so you don't have to worry about copyright issues on YouTube. Now personally, for my channel, I like to use like hip hop beats, just like really relaxed beats. You gotta remember, it's not about the music is just kind of there to set the mood of the video. That way it's not just like awkward with you like sitting and working in silence. It's good to have a little bit of music. So I found a song that I'm gonna use, so I'm gonna, for Bryan's video, so I'm going to click download on here and we'll add this into the project. So now that I've got the song imported into the project, what I'm going to do is I'm going to just drag it right here onto the timeline. Now I want the music to start after he gives his initial introduction and after their intro animation. When he first starts talking about the side marker light, that's when I want the music to start playing. Now the problem is the music is going to be the same volume as his voice, which if you've ever watched videos that are like that where the music is too loud, it's super annoying. So what I like to do is I like to go into the audio clip mixer, and whatever the music is, I will just put it at negative 20 decibels. And I find that that's, in most cases with most music, it's just a good level to have while someone's talking. That way the music isn't like too overpowering.
Side marker, and as you may have seen in Justin Buice's video.
So now the parts where he's not talking, like the B-roll, you can see right here on the timeline, there's no audio of his voice right here. So I know there's different ways of doing this. It's called ducking, where you can change the volume. There's different ways to go about this, but the way that I've always done it, and this might not even be correct, I don't know, but I just do that. I just make 2 cuts in the audio track, and then I can bring this up to 0, which is like the normal volume of the song. Then what you can do is you can grab your constant power, and that will make a gradual increase in the volume. That way it's not just like a really loud change, I guess. So now when you play this, music is quiet while he's talking.
I'll show you some before and after shots.
And then the music picks up when it goes to the B-roll. So the last step here in the editing process is going to be the color correction, and the reason that I'm saving that for last is it just goes back to 4K. Once again, the more layers that you have here on the timeline, the slower your computer's going to run, so I just like to do it last. It makes it a little bit easier. Now I know that Bryan uses a Sony a6400, which is very similar to the camera that I use, the Sony a6500, and personally I don't really like the Sony colors straight out of camera. I feel that they have like kind of a greenish tint to them. So what I like to do is, in my personal opinion, I think that the Canon 5D is like the benchmark for camera colors. So when I'm color grading, I try to get it to look like as close to the 5D colors as possible. Try to make it look very natural, as though we were there in the scene with him. So I'll show you how to do that. Basically, the first thing that you want to do is you want to make a new adjustment layer. So you can go into that, click adjustment layer, and then we'll drag that here onto the timeline. Then we're going to go into effects, lumetri color. We'll drag that onto the adjustment layer. That way any color correction that we do will affect all the clips underneath it. That way you don't have to like individually color grade each clip. You can just do it all on the adjustment layer and it will affect everything below that. So I'm not like an expert at doing this. There is actually a scientific way of doing this where you use like a color chart and then you use software to match the colors on the color chart, but I'm just gonna kind of eyeball it. I feel like over time I've gotten pretty good at this, so I'll show you basically how I do it. So you go into basic correction here in your effects controls. The first thing that I'm gonna do is I'm gonna bring up the exposure a little bit because it does look a little bit underexposed. Again, just kind of eyeballing it. I think that 1.2 adding to the exposure looks pretty good. Contrast, again, just doing this kind of visually, I'm just gonna hit 20 because I know that Bryan shoots in a more flat profile, so we do need to add some more contrast to it. So hit enter on there, give it a little bit of contrast. Also add a little bit of saturation. We'll try 115 and see how that looks. Now if you notice, like I was saying with the Sony colors, how his face almost looks a little bit orange. Like he maybe has some kind of weird vitamin deficiency. That's just a thing with Sony cameras. So what I like to do to get it to look as close to Canon colors as possible is I go into the tint and we'll do 10 plus 10. Hit enter. And now his skin is actually looking a little bit more natural, more human in my opinion. And then as far as the temperature, I also like to bring this down to -5. And then another thing that you can do, I mean, you can play with all these, the blacks, I think it looks good at 0, so we'll just leave that. The shadows, you can pull up a little bit to bring up the exposure again a little bit more. And if you go into the curves, you can also play around with these, make a little bit of an S curve to give it even more contrast. And I think that that's looking pretty good. So if we toggle this on and off, that's what it looked like straight out of camera. And that's just with a couple seconds of tweaking the footage. And I just think that that looks so much better like that. Again, this is before, this is straight out of camera with no adjustments. And this is how it looks after I turn that adjustment layer on. So there you have it, that's how I edit my YouTube videos using Adobe Premiere Pro. If you want to check out Bryan's channel, Kies Motorsports, I'll leave a link down in the description. I'm not sure when he's going to upload these videos that I'm doing for him, but I guess just look forward to those in the future. Bryan, it's always a pleasure working for you. I appreciate the opportunity. And guys, if you enjoyed the video, if you found this helpful or mildly entertaining, just give me a thumbs up, and I'll see you in the next one.